Let's go live, and we're back with another one. Arsenal are the Premier League champions finally after 22 long years. What a way it's been. Arsene Wenger finishing fourth all them years and winning the trophy that is the fourth place trophy. Unai Emery came in for one season. They put their hopes on him. Within a half season it was. He led them to the Europa League final. He couldn't really get them over the line. And then Mikel Arteta joined famously 6 seasons ago, leading them to the FA Cup. And then so many skeptics came in that time, and in this time, since in the time that he's taken him to win the Premier League, right? I think one of the biggest points that a lot of opposition fans was that, oh, look, Eric Ten Hag's won a cup. What's his name? Other opposition, Enzo Maresca's won more cups than him. But Arsenal were always going for the big one. Let's be real. They weren't really going for any Carabao Cups. That was a bonus to them. Even winning the FA Cup again for Arteta would have been the bonus. And this is why I rate the board, Stan Kroenke, especially the owner, for backing Mikel Arteta, trusting Mikel Arteta, trusting this process, right? Believing that he's the right man, and then sticking with him after finishing second 3 times in a row. They were obviously in the lead last season in the Premier League. They lost it to Liverpool. The season before that, arguably they should have won it as well. Their football was better in the last 2 seasons. However, the biggest change for me this season, and the biggest credit, has to go to Andrea Berta, the sporting director that they bought in from Atletico Madrid. Edu Gaspar, I don't know where this guy got his reputation from, boys, right, for being a sporting director. I don't know where he got it from. And then Arsenal fans, right, whether they want to admit this or not online, were bigging up Edu Gaspar like he was flipping Peter Kenyon of Manchester United. Remember him? He was a great. And when he went to Chelsea, see, you're laughing already because you know he was a bad boy, right? Or like he was David Dean back in the day for Arsenal. They were making out like Edu Gaspar was building a title-winning team. Brother, if you look at Andrea Berta's signings this season, they're all key signings. Martin Zubimendi, he enhanced Declan Rice. He's made Declan Rice look like a better player this season, right? I know Zubimendi's fallen off in the last couple of months, but you know what? He's brought a sense of control to that midfield. In defense, Ricardo Calafiori, brilliant signing. Piero Hincapié, brilliant signing. Right? Victor Gyökeres, they needed a striker last season or 2 years ago. Who was Edu signing for them? The wrong kind of player. Eberechi Eze turned out to be a great signing for him this season, right? Stepping up in big moments. Next season, they need to sign a new left winger, I'd say, to replace Martinelli, someone who's a bit more of a killer, and even maybe another striker right up front with Victor Gyökeres, and I would replace Martin Odegaard, to be fair. But I tell you something, Kai Havertz, what a signing he's been for Arsenal as well. Everyone laughed when they signed Kai Havertz. This guy's got a clutch gene in him. He won the Champions League for Chelsea. He got the winning goal yesterday for Arsenal. He got the winning goal for them against Sporting Lisbon. Every time he seems to play, and I tell you something, right? We were talking about great goals that day. Yeah. Do you know the great goal, what do you call it? One of the great first touch goals in the Premier League history was his first touch, bringing it down out of the air against Newcastle for Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. And another one, right? I know I've gone a little bit off topic here and I'm digressing. I'll come back. Was Dele Alli at Old Trafford. That touch where he plucks it out of the air. I don't know which 2 defenders he takes out. That is one of the greatest first touches in Premier League history. I promise you, like, you can check it out right now, right? It is in the air and he flicks it over between the 2 United defenders, and then he finishes it, pokes it past David De Gea, right? Great finish. But Arsenal, going back to them, Andrea Berta, for me, deserves all the credit. Brilliant signings, right? And they really need to kick on now. If they win the Champions League, what a season for Mikel Arteta. He's really silenced all the doubters anyway with the Premier League win. But if he wins the Champions League, bloody hell, Arsenal fan TV will be unbearable. The fans online will be unbearable. That's the first thing, right? But credit where it's due, man. You can't really say anything. And this thing about Arsenal winning the title dirty, Arsenal winning the title ugly, who cares? Will the history book say that Arsenal won this title dirty, boys? Like Paul Scholes saying, oh, this is the worst title win of all time. Nobody cares. You know what? When Leicester won it, right? Everyone said Arsenal should have won it then. These last couple of seasons, when Liverpool have won it, when Manchester City have won it, no one cares how you win it as long as you win it. That's all history cares about, who's the champion. And I tell you something, right? History will teach us this in football as well. Defense wins your championships. And that's what Mikel Arteta decided to focus on this season more than any other season. People might not like this style of football, but like we said in the car just before we got on the live, boys, they're the ones that ushered in this new style of football. You can't really argue. You can't really say, oh, why is this style one, and why they dry, and why they this, and why they that. Who cares? They've won the league now. it's all about them defending in next season. And I think this is the greatest opportunity they got to build a dynasty under Mikel Arteta right now. Big opportunity they got to build a dynasty under Mikel Arteta right now. Right? Who for you has been their player of the season? For me, David Raya. In the comments, share who you think. I don't think it's been Declan Rice at all. I'll be saying this in the car. I'm going to bring onto camera right now. David Raya, what a signing for them, like you lot said. Aaron Ramsdale may have pulled off a save here and there, right? And there was such an uproar when David Raya came in. But again, Mikel Arteta showed the ruthlessness of a manager who's won the league before. He learned this from Pep, I think. You know, the ruthlessness that needed to make your team better instead of having that. You know, United have had that in recent years. We spoke about this, if you remember, right? And I think they're getting a bit more ruthless with Jim Ratcliffe now. You know, they've held on to players for too long, showing them too much love. They've done a good service for the club. If they need to be moved on, they need to be moved on. The best example for Pep was when Joe Hart did it. When he came in and he moved Joe Hart on. Do you remember? Instantly, he moved him on. Everyone had an uproar. They were talking about it. Nothing happened. Right? What was that? Inshallah. Oh, right. Right, boys, gone?
No, he said, I think United will win the league next season.
If maybe the right signings, yeah. I think United could be the biggest challenges next season.
I don't think it's anyone's to win next season now.
No, it's Arsenal's to lose again. Because they're the champions now.
It's Arsenal's to lose, but anyone can step up and win it now.
Possibly.
Liverpool, surely they can't be as shit as this season.
I don't know, but it looks like there's a lot of going on there with Slot, you know. I don't think Slot's comfortable in that job right now. Trust him as well, but because of the way they are as a football club.
We've always had this conversation. The players have to buy into your
100%. And
if they're not buying into his style of play, they're not going to do it.
I do agree with what Wayne Rooney said about Salah. If I was Salah, I would not play Salah in the last game, you know. Regardless of, you know what?
Bro, that guy just pulled a grenade and
Yeah, that's too much, man. And Slot needs to say, you know what, I'm the guy that's staying here. You're going now. Doesn't matter what you're doing for the club. I need to assert my authority. And you know what? People are saying why is Rooney saying this, that, and the other? Wayne Rooney got the same treatment, you know, in the last ever game. Do you not know this? You don't ever mention this. Rooney wasn't part of Ferguson's last ever squad. That West Brom game.
Did you even see when he when he went home to the title? He only shook his hand.
That's what I'm saying.
He hugged everyone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was shaky. And so Rooney goes, I've been in the same position. It happened to me. I agree with it. And I do agree with Wayne Rooney. He's a just guy anyway. But if I was Arne Slot, right, I would definitely take him out right now and say, you know what? That's it. You're going to get your farewell anyway. You're going to be on the pitch anyway. The fans are going to send you off anyway. The fans are with you more than they are with me right now anyway. I need to get them back on side by next season. So I need to show them, right, maybe without Salah, they might buy into the players might buy into the style of play more. Salah is a leader in that team. He might not be a vocal leader, but he's definitely the guy that leads by example in the dressing, in the changing room, in training. He's the first one there, last one out. So it's a big impact he has at that club, big influence he has at the club. Slot needs to really now reassert his authority for next season, right? And I do see you lot being seriously challenging for the title next season. I don't know if Bruno's going to have the same season he's going to have this season, right? He's always been consistent, but you need to improve. Elliot Anderson's on the list. You've got Morgan Gibbs-White there. I would take Morgan Gibbs-White first before anyone else because I think that's more realistic than anyone else. Sandro Tonali's there on the list. You need them couple of central midfielders, a new centre back and a new left back, and possibly a new striker up front, right? And I think United have got a good enough squad then to compete for the title next season. However, saying that could be a shout, but I don't know if Ollie Watkins will want to play as a second fiddle. I think you need to find a striker that's willing to say, you know what, I'll help Sesko out here, and I'll play in the cup games and some Champions League games, and I'll come on as a substitute a lot of the time.
I think Sesko's still got time to learn. I don't think he'll be a constant every game.
I think he needs to be now because of what he's shown from January, right? This guy, if he gets the game time behind him and the consistency, look what he's done, man. He's got 11 goals for you already this season, right? And they've all been brilliant finishes, different types of finishes. I think this season you blooded him. I think he's done. Next season he'll be ready. You know, I'm pretty sure he'll get 25 goals next season. We'll clip this as well. He just needs that guy to help him out. Yeah. 100%. He just needs the guy now. No. I think that United attack set this season, man. You had a brilliant season. You're finishing third. All you need now is the players behind them, like I said, to improve. If you get Morgan Gibbs-White, right, that midfield's already brilliant. You got Gibbs-White, Kobe, and Bruno. What you need is the Casemiro replacement, then the defensive type midfielder in there, right? and then you just need the 2 defenders at back, and then you could be challenging for the title next season. I'm going on to, and then you know what? Next season you won't have that this circus that's going around Bruno, right? That we were talking about the car. He won't be there next season as well. Anyway, even if he's going to break the assist record next season, because you'll have a better team around him. This is why Bruno stands out at Manchester United. The same point. I'm going to clip this from I think yesterday's podcast or the day before when I was asking Sub, I think it was right about him at Portugal. I was asking you lot, why at Portugal he doesn't shine as much as he does at Manchester United. He shines for United every single game, every single week, right? At Portugal is maybe 1 every 3 games because he's got better players around him. So you don't always need to be at your A game, because you know the guy next year, if he's at his A game, I can play at B, because the guy next to him could be at A as well. So that's why I'm saying Bruno at this World Cup, you're right, it'd be his opportunity to show that he is one of the best in Europe overall, not just in the Premier League. And next season, with the reliance less on him, I think Europe will be a more dangerous team. Because right now, everything goes through that guy. All the chances that are created by United go through him. Kobe's like the guy behind him to create for him, and then he creates the main chance. You need someone there with him. I thought Cunha would be that guy, but Cunha's more of a forward striker. And then a second, more than even a second striker, is more like a false 9. Playing coming off the left wing, dribbler type. You need that killer pass. The second guy to do it to help Bruno Fernandes, where he alleviate the pressure off him a little bit. And for God's sake, boys, it was a bloody circus act. On to Spurs. Unbelievable. All they had to do was draw, man. I don't know what is wrong with that football club, right? Now they got Everton at home on the final day. West Ham have got Leeds. Leeds are free and safe, right? Everton are still playing for European football.
You put your money more on West Ham beating.
Yeah, Leeds and Spurs being Everton. All Spurs need still is a draw, though. Yeah, Europe. That's what I'm saying. They can still get a Conference League, right? Spurs just need a draw. That is for.
Is it Everton? Is it Tottenham?
Both are home. West Ham are home and Tottenham are home. I think Tottenham will scrape the draw, but today was the opportunity to just go into that final day, right? And knowing that you're secure, it would have been so good for them as a football club, right? So brilliant. For us as a neutral, it's amazing. We've got something on the final day to see final, because obviously the title now been wrapped up, right? This is just brilliant that this has gone down to the final day as well. And if Spurs went down, I'm going to stick with what I said earlier this season, boys. For me, it's bigger than Leicester winning the Premier League. It's bigger than anything I've seen ever in football. It's still shocking. People is not that many eyes are on it, right? But next week, all eyes are on them now, because everything's done for, like I said. Now everyone's going to be focused on it. Now the pressure's on it. This week, now building up to, is all going to be about our Spurs going to be that club to be relegated. This is a top 6 club, man. People are not deeping it enough, man.
There's bigger pressure on Spurs than there is West Ham.
Obviously, there is 100%. There is. This is top 10 richest clubs in world football. And we could see them in the bloody championship, boys. That's crazy.
Imagine they don't make it out of the championship.
For a season. Would De Zerbi stay if they get relegated? I don't think so.
I think he's got a...
Has he got a break in it as well? Bloody hell, man. There you go.
He said he'll stay regardless, but I think there's a break.
All right. Southampton Spygate. Bloody hell. I never thought that would come through to fruition. And then the revelation that come out. Yeah, but it's bogus investigation, slap on the wrist, you know.
I didn't think that.
Are they appealing it?
Tomorrow as well.
Okay.
Obviously the finals on Saturday.
Yeah, but it will be tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be quick.
No, the biggest winners are. Oh.
Yeah. Well.
Do you think?
Why?
Do you think?
Is it really though? Because I'm thinking.
All are just in prep, man. They know what.
Yeah, but who are they prepping for now?
That's what I'm saying. So they're 1 minute all week they'll be prepping for Southampton.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna start playing for
For
Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough is different type of football, different style of play. So sometimes they could have that effect on your psychological effect.
I reckon if Middlesbrough get there, Middlesbrough are the biggest winners.
Oh, obviously they do.
Because they got knocked out.
And then they're
They'll
gonna
be
be,
there,
and they'll be,
they could come. They could catch.
and they go to the Premier League. It'll be an amazing story in that sense. But I've never seen anything like, obviously Bielsa did it a few years ago, right? And I think that was the initial warning to the English football pyramid and European football, especially
Who did it before? Now
Bielsa to Lampard. It was when Lampard was at Derby. But the revelation that come out that these lot did it to Ipswich and to bloody Oxford United during the season, I just don't understand why they're spying, right? Isn't there enough? Yeah, it is. They admitted it. They admitted it. Exactly. It's not the 70s and 80s. There's enough footage of these teams playing football. You know different tactics now as well. I really don't. Obviously, it's a disadvantage for the team that you're spying. And Obviously, then the other team, and the other team's got a right then to say, you know what, we could have been bringing a tactical surprise. Now he's gone out the window, and I don't get it, man. I don't think they'll win the.
Nothing to prove against it, then, does it?
I'm speechless. I don't think they'll win the league appeal because they admitted it. I read today they admitted to the three the three teams that they went against. You know what's crazy to me? How quick this investigation was wrapped up, right? And then you got City's under 15 charges for 3 years, right? Still in the background. It just goes to show money talks in the English football. That's all that talks in English football is money.
He's gone, that's
I was thinking this as well. It could be an undercurrent, right? That the investigation could be concluding in the summer, and he just doesn't want to be there at the end of it all.
You don't want to be in that circus.
He doesn't want to be a part of the circus, right? And he can say now that he's left, he can always say, I want him on the pitch. He can say that now. He'll always argue that, you know, he's got that argument now. I always want him on the pitch. I didn't know what was going on. It happened after me, if it does happen to him. But I tell you something, the biggest thing is, and nobody ever talks about this, really, because they like brushing it under the carpet. All it is right. This league is the money league. When Perez tried to do the Super League, the biggest crybabies were Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville and the Premier League, right? Why? Because their dominance was getting attacked.
Authority was getting
Yeah. Authority and the dominance of football was getting attacked. They didn't want to lose the status quo of them being the top dogs in football right now, right? And the Premier League, the money league. The Premier League is the money league. You know, Burnley are getting more money for being relegated than Barcelona for winning the La Liga. If you're not telling me this is not the money, that's all this is. It's not the best league in the world. It's the richest league in the world. That's all it is. And people confuse that with it being the best league in the world. If you look at the quality of the Premier League this season, we've all agreed upon it. Even the pundits have agreed upon it. The fans alike have agreed on it. It's probably been the worst Premier League season since Leicester won it 10 years ago. In the last decade, it's probably been the worst quality season in the Premier League. It really has. Best players for the championship winning team have been all defenders and defensive-minded players. And throughout the league, there's no one really that stood outstanding, right, in this Premier League this season. It's the richest league in the world, and with that money, the marketing that they do, that's why this league is so revered and highly rated, and they talk about it. But really, when you look at it, even with all the players they buy and all the money that they've got afforded to them, they should be doing more, man. And they're so far ahead of everyone else. It's unbelievable. I made this point earlier, right, that the Premier League can now use every other league as like a practice league for them to see which players they want to buy, when they want to buy him. They can buy anyone they want, any Premier League club. If Bournemouth wanted to spend 100 million this summer, I promise you lot, right, they could probably make a way of spending 100 million by showing their accounts and the Champions League and whatever. Somehow, somewhere, they'd be able to spend it. And it'd be justified. Because that's the Premier League. And you know what? Nobody bats an eyelid. Nobody cares when foreign investment comes into the Premier League and it takes over. Nobody calls it sports washing then. Nobody called it sports washing when the Qataris bought and the Abu Dhabis bought Manchester City. You know why? Because it's Manchester City and they're based in Manchester, and it affects them in a good way. It's good for them. It's not a negative impact to them. It's not about migrants then. It wasn't about immigrants then, or bringing their money into the country then. Right? If you go down the English football ladder, right, of the 20 clubs, how many are even owned by English owners? Arsenal, American owners. Chelsea, American owners. Spurs, English. And United, English. Manchester City, Abu Dhabi.
Well, United, majority American.
There you go. Majority American, one we're talking about. Brighton, English. The rest of them, they've all got Americans in there somewhere, somehow, somewhere. When Leicester City won the title, it wasn't with an English owner. It was with the Thaksin Shinawatra, the King Power from Thailand. When Chelsea have won it, it's been under Roman Abramovich. When Europe have won it, it's under the American ownership. Most of the Premier Leagues that have been won in the history of the Premier League has been through foreign investment in that club. And then that club has been able to pull away from the rest of Europe, even not just the Premier League, but from the rest of Europe for a period of time and be able to build. When Italy was doing that in the late 90s and early 2000s, they bought Holtware, they bought it all. But it's because the TV rights here, everyone wants to watch the Premier League. And it's not a knock on it, it's just that how they see everything is unfair as well. They're in the best league, they're in the finals this year. This is the first time they've reached all finals after years. And they reach Conference League is there to be won for every Premier League team every year. Are you telling me the value of Palace, right, was the same value all the opponents they played? they were doubling them in value, in wage bill and in the transfer value of their teams. Every single team they played in this conference league. Last year, who won it? Chelsea. Unbelievable. Everyone knew Chelsea were going to win. Chelsea, they've been in that competition the fast, right? West Ham the year before, everyone knew West Ham were going to win it. Let's be real, it's there for the flipping Premier League clubs to win now, because they got the most money from the clubs that compete in there, and they got the best squads because of the money. They got the best squads. Europa League, if it isn't a Spanish club that's going to make it to the final, right? You're most likely you're guessing that one of the English league, again, they got the better squads, they got the better players. Why? Because they got the team. That's what I'm saying. Every other league is a training ground for the Premier League to buy these players and build their squads, and they're building these squads, top squads, right, to do that. On actual footballing ability, and in this country, it doesn't produce nothing. I always say, no English manager has ever won the Premier League. There you go. No English coach has ever won the Premier League, boys.
No pressure, man.
He could be the first, but is it damning? Is it? Who's the greatest English coach in our lifetime, boys? Honest to God, Bobby Robson, mate. Done. He's the best English manager in my lifetime for me, was Sir Bobby Robson. He was a proper manager. He won trophies at Barca. He won trophies at Porto, Sporting Lisbon. He won the bloody league with Ipswich, mate. He won the UEFA Cup with Ipswich in the 80s. This guy was a proper manager. Since Bobby Robson, boys, tell me who's been the best English manager. Steve McLaren, Wally Nabrella. Are you telling me he was the best? Roy Hodgson. He wasn't as good as Bobby Robson. He wasn't a world-class manager. He's a great manager, but he wasn't a world-class manager. Eddie Howe is probably the best English tactician right now. Is he even in the top 10 managers in world football? Is he else? Who's the last great English manager? Brian Clough before Bobby Robson. There you go. England have never, and Alf Ramsey. There's 3 great managers. Don Revie, you'd say 4. Right? Maybe Ron Atkinson and Howard Wilkinson, George Graham. But these guys were all in the past. Division 1 days. Who? No, it was Scott. Matt Busby's a Scot. Bob Paisley's a Scot. Alex Ferguson's a Scot.
Yeah, it's only when they want to class them as United Kingdom.
British,
yeah.
Andy Murray winning Wimbledon became English. What am I saying to you? There you go. He became British. When he won Olympic gold, obviously he's representing Britain, not Scotland. Do you know what I mean? Any other time, they're Scotland and we're England. These are the worst in the world. That's why I never support this country. For that reason, because they're sly, they're very, very sly. They'll take and as they own who they want and exclude everyone else whenever they want. It's an exclusive club. Ron Atkinson was alright. He won the FA Cup at Manchester United. Norman Whiteside scoring the winner against Everton in the 80s. Saka better than... Okay, brother. Let me tell you about Ronaldo at the Premier League. He won every single individual award there was to be won. Nobody's ever done that. Not even Thierry Henry. And Henry's my Premier League goat. Martin O'Neill's Irish. Harry Redknapp's a good manager, but was he world class? I don't think he was. Go for it. Put him out of his misery. Nah, not Big Sam. So it's obviously English football. They've relied on heavily on foreign investment and on foreign talent to prop the game up and make it the league that it is today. 100%. There's no doubt about it, right? There you go. That's what I'm saying. The last 3 biggest hopes that for the World Cup. Sven-Göran Eriksson was it, Swede. Fabio Capello, Italian. Thomas Tuchel, German. Gareth Southgate was because of the look of the draw that they thought he was going to win the World Cup. Before going into the World Cup. Yeah, they didn't really think that he was going to win anything at the time. And he did what he was bought in to do. He stabilized the country, and he brought a good feel factor back to England that was missing for years and years and years. And that's what they needed, really. And you know what? Right now, they could probably do with a bit of that right now, a sprinkle of that. Because Tuchel's reign, in my opinion, has been underwhelming. Very, very underwhelming. Boring, very underwhelming is the perfect word for me, because his style of football hasn't shone through. His team selections are baffling. He doesn't really go by what's happening. It's like he's got his favourites or the team in his mind that he wants to pick. Trent hasn't even been picked last few teams. They lost to Japan for the first time it's just a lot going on around that national team that doesn't look like they're set going into a World
Too
Cup.
much talk going on about it.
Don't look like they're set going into that World Cup.
Southgate, there was none of this.
As he always had it set.
Because he wasn't expected to do that. Well,
Again, yeah, like going back to that point that we're making, yeah, he was a,
expectation wasn't that high.
no. The expectation was that he's got them to do what he's got them to do right now, which is they're coherent and they're together. Imam Asim Raymond Stadium. Right, last 2 minutes of the live, or last minute of the live, and then I'm off. Arsenal champions once again after 22 years. Can they defend their title? That is what we are all wondering, and I think it's there for them to defend 100% with the right signings. I tell you, it would be a sixth signing on the left wing for them, Keane and Yildiz. It'd be very good for them. Anelka or Henry, Thierry overall. Keane and Yildiz, I'm not surprised. I told you that he's going to move to Barca Madrid in his career. 100%. Unreal baller, that guy is. Unreal talent. Unbelievable talent. He's too talented not to move on from Juventus eventually. And hopefully he'll win us the thank you very much for the gifts. Hopefully he'll win us the Serie A at Chelsea.
I was reading somewhere today.
Shocked.
He'll do a good job.
If they give him the reins the way they're saying, and it's not just talk on paper, and it's not just talk for the media, and they actually make him the money and they trust him with the transfers, and he has an input in transfers, and he has an input in sales. There's been a lot of ifs here, right? And the last if I'm saying 18 months minimum they give him. I think Pochettino, before Maresca, would have done what Maresca would have did eventually. Because if you remember at the end of his first season, Pochettino found his style of play, he calmed it down, and he got him into European football. I think it was Champions League, wasn't it? He got him into the Champions League, 4th place. Then he left him, didn't he? Quite surprisingly. Then they got rid of, the way they got rid of Maresca, and he's been bringing Racine in, they don't look like they know what they're doing. They just need to trust Alonso. That's what I'm basically saying here. Todd Bowley and the Clear Lake Capital Group really need to trust this guy with it now and say, you know what, you are the manager. We believe in you. What you do is what we're going to back. We're not going to get involved. Because you could tell with Liam Racine, they got involved. You could tell why Enzo Maresca had a problem was, the blue this guy came out after they won. It was after the victory against Everton. And he goes, it's the worst 48 hours I've ever experienced as a manager. Clearly they were messing about behind the scenes. Clearly they're telling him, don't pick this guy probably, or why you got this guy. Something was going on. Yeah, that he did not like. They need to stop doing that because they've shown they're incompetent at running a football club and they don't know jack about football. That's the truth, right? They're businessmen. They should stick to being businessmen. They've cracked the code of the transfer contracts and the market and the fees and everything. That's what they should focus on. Whoever Alonso tells them that he wants to buy that suits his style of play, they should go and get that player for him. He likes a 3-man defense, wing backs maybe. Whatever he says, they should try to support him and go for it. He's obviously shown that he is a good manager. Not just with Leverkusen. He was doing very well. He had the best record for a starting Madrid manager up until when he got sacked for any Madrid manager in history. So he has sensationally, I've read as well, there's a few sensational reports that because of his good relationship with Kylian Mbappe, he's going to try to convince Mbappe because of what's going on Madrid. Now look, join Chelsea soon. That would be sensational, wouldn't it?
Bringing it back, right, before you end the live, I've read rumors about Pep Guardiola. So he's saying he's looking to take a year out of football. This time next year, he wants to basically join your club because it's the only league that he hasn't been at, Italy, and it's the team that basically he feels that he can do to kind of still set a standard. So win them the league, which they haven't done for
5 years now.
Champions League as well.
30 years.
So yeah, man.
30 years.
I read it.
This year's 30 years. 2026 is 30 years since Juventus won the Premier League.
That's his next
You know when Pep...
He'll never go. He won't go Spain manager. We all know why, though.
Not yet.
No, I don't know about... I don't know... as a Catalan, right? And you said that, but he won the Olympics representing Spain as he was the captain in 1992. And he represented him.
His beliefs and what more strong now about
Possibly, and he represented him 58 times during his career as well. I don't know. I could see him maybe becoming the Spain manager. The reason why I do see him going to Italy is because he ended his footballing career in Italy. He went to Roma, he got banned, but then he went to Brescia and he played with Roberto Baggio, right? Funnily enough, I seen a great performance of his at the San Siro against Inter Milan. Wow. R9's on the pitch, and Guardiola and Luca Tone was playing for Brescia. Baggio wasn't on the pitch, and Guardiola's running that game at the San Siro. He scores a penalty as well, and they drew 1-1. Unbelievable. That's a brilliant football shirt as well. One of the great underrated football shirts Brescia's that season when Guardiola and Baggio were there. So that is why I've always thought that Pep Guardiola will come to Italian football. I always thought because of his connection with Roma and he was a player at Roma, but then I learned and I've over the years that Roma don't rate this guy at all. You know that Totti and these boys do not rate Guardiola because when he joined them, Capello didn't trust him, and obviously he got banned for it was a drug ban that he got, and he only represented him 4 times. Once he got the ban from FIFA, he deserted Roma, and obviously he chose Brescia, so they'd already rate him. Juventus, why I don't think he'll join us.
Well, you never mentioned this as well. You know the twice, sorry to cut you off. You know the 2 times when Guardiola was available, Juve they weren't not initiating talk, but they were sniffing around trying to get Guardiola.
That's when it should have been. That's what I was gonna say.
Bayern,
Yeah.
and before
See,
Man City.
that's when it should have been. That would have been the perfect time to bring Pep Guardiola in. We were in the midst of winning 9 titles.
I'm telling you now again another year's time, right? I think you lot will probably get Champions League. You might not win the league next year, depending on who you sign. I think it's still the perfect time to bring Guardiola in.
I think it would be the perfect time, but
Because realistically, right, he could win the Champions League.
do you know what? If Juventus were clever, right?
It is his type of club, man.
100%. They're a big club. They're a major club. If they were clever, they would try to. All right, you're right. He's going to take a year out. They would try to this season that's coming up with Spalletti because Spalletti does play a possession type. Bring in players that suit Pep's style of play a little bit. Maybe even say to him, you know what, like what City did. City basically in his last season at Bayern Munich agreed with him that you're going to become the manager and already asked him who do you want to sign, and who did he say? Kevin De Bruyne was the one that he suggested. There you go. He was the one that said, bring me De Bruyne from Wolves because he watched him in the Bundesliga and he said, this is a guy that I won at Manchester City. If really Juventus wanted to do it, this is how I would go by. I would say, listen, whatever you want as the contract, would give you that. Who do you want us to sign? If we can sign him, all right, we'll bring him in realistically as well because Pep will be realistic with it as well, knowing that, all right, in Italian football, this guy. But really, when I thought Pep would become our manager, it was that time. It was around that time with Bayern. And why? Because we were in the midst of winning 9 league titles. In 2015 and 2017, we reached the Champions League finals. The squads we had then were squads that Guardiola could have enhanced and made better because they were world-class players already. And, you know, that was world-class players there. You know, Buffon in net, Bonucci, Bazzagli, Pogba, Chiellini, Pirlo, Marquisio, Vidal, Tevez. The team was brilliant, amazing team that we had. So it would have been brilliant then. Would I love Pep Guardiola to be our manager? It's always been my dream. Either him or Diego Simeone to take over. Why I always thought Simeone wouldn't take over, and I always say this, and he said it himself after I said it to everyone. That guy loves Inter Milan. He played for Inter and Lazio as well. He won the league at Lazio, but he loves Inter Milan. So I think that, and he said it himself, he goes, the next club that he would go to would be Inter Milan. However, he said that he's staying on for one more season next season as well. So the next club for him would be Inter Milan. It wouldn't be us. So my 2 dream coaches are Pep or Cholo. If it would be a third one, I would say Jurgen Klopp. And I think Klopp could, again, I think we could attract Klopp maybe in the next 2-3 years if we don't win the league again, because we could become that club where, like Liverpool, a sleeping giant, where is a project for him to bring us back up again, especially with no Champions League football. So,
you are the biggest though in Italy, man, and this is why I say, you know, Pep would suit you guys down to a T.
why do I think that's Batsab? It must be Batsab, innit? Pep does suit us in that sense, and I've always felt that as well, yeah. Because we are the biggest club in Italy. No doubt about it. And we're one of, you know, we're top 10 in Europe as well, so we've got that reputation. Top 8 in it in that sense.
Top 6, 7, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah.
In the world.
Yeah, world football, 100%. Those of you not following the page, please follow the page. We'd appreciate that. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you on tomorrow's live. Also, just at bottom where the timer is, 34. Yeah, and live. X that comment thing. No, you're gonna have to. Oh, can you do that? You can do it like that.